But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
Beauty. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
That's right, Brett Walsh. It is time to execute to the best of our abilities because it is officially Olympic week. And this is day number 2, episode number 4 of our Olympic coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. This is the 9x9 Olympic edition. My name is Everett Delorme in Toronto. That is Rob St. Clair in Chicago. And today we are going to be breaking down Women's Pool B, giving you all the ins and out of all 4 teams and giving you our predictions and breakdowns of what's going to happen over the course of the next, I guess, week and a half in Paris. If you missed it, we just did the men's. So after this, you can go back and watch that one as well, as long as all the pool breakdowns. But Rob, let's jump into it. Let's talk about Pool B. And in Pool B, you have Brazil, Poland, Japan, and Kenya. This is, I would say, quite a bit of a regular pool in terms of a tournament where you have two good teams, two very solid, potentially medal favorite teams. One pretty good, very solid team that has the potential to upset one of the other two, and then a third team that is just there to get beat up on. No offense.
Yes. I mean, we can start with Kenya, honestly. They're not going to win a set. I would be stunned if they got to 20 points. They got 3-donged by Puerto Rico in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals with their Olympians. I don't even think they won the African Championship with their Olympians. I think they might have gotten 3rd, somebody told me. This is, unfortunately, the worst team in the field on either side. Thanks for participating.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I know any of these athletes. I can't say I have ever intentionally sat down and watched a Kenyan women's volleyball match. I mean, hey, like, we were pretty lack of knowledge on Egypt, and at least Egypt is there.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. I don't really know. Let's try to break it down here a little bit. You were saying they were in the Challenger Cup.
Yep. So they got 3-donged by Puerto Rico. It wasn't good. I do know their primary scorer is Pamela, number 3, their opposite. She is going to be the offensive player to watch. Past that, I really just don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know, and I don't project this team to be significant in this Olympics. Like, it sucks. It's important for the sake of the Olympics that we continue to have at least one team from Africa. Africa right now is not a good volleyball continent, especially on the women's side. And they're in a tough pool because everybody else in the Olympics is really good. And they couldn't take a set off of Puerto Rico in a Challenger Cup quarterfinal. They have no chance here. No chance.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree. It's just kind of the reality of it with this. And
somebody in the chat says they're not so bad. They can win a set. They scored more than 20 points in a set in Challenger Cup. Yeah, they lost 25-20, 25-19, 27-25 to Puerto Rico. This is the Olympic Games. Thanks for participating, unfortunately. Do you have anything else to add?
No. We're good.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about a team
I think you're looking at the last Challenger Cup because the Egypt women were in the 2024 Challenger Cup.
I think the Egyptian men, maybe the Egyptian women were in there too.
Sorry. I was looking at the women. I apologize. The men.
Yeah. Enough about Kenya. Let's talk about Japan. Japan is really good. Japan completely belongs in the Olympics. They're ranked 7th in the world. They just took silver at this year's VNL, which was very impressive. Kind of came out of nowhere. And what I'm most excited about Japan being here, and just Japan and Poland and Brazil, like the 3 teams on top of this pool, is they've played each other a lot in meaningful matches recently, especially Japan playing both Poland and Brazil. Japan and Brazil, all they do is play 5-set bangers against each other. That's all they do. And this year, Japan finally won one. They beat Brazil and gave them the first loss of their entire VNL after they went 13-0, and Japan beat them in the semifinals. It was an awesome game. And then Japan lost 3-1 to an Italian team that was way better than them, and they took home silver, which was really awesome. Very impressive. Japan's really fun to watch. They're crazy fast. They're super skilled. They're gnarly in backcourt defense. But this is Japan, and they lack world-class firepower, and I'm curious to see how their identity can carry them against two teams that are much bigger than them.
I would push back on that. I don't know what
Koga, as much as I absolutely love her, is not world-class firepower. She's a world-class player.
What do you mean by firepower?
Scoring ability, physicality.
I don't care about physicality if you can score. She has scoring ability. She can score in bunches. She can score out of system. She can score in system. She can score fastballs. She can score high balls. Like Serena Koga is firepower. I don't know how we're thinking about this like this. Like Serena Koga is a world-class player without a doubt. And not to mention, she's retiring after this Olympics.
This
correct. Is her last gasp. She's gonna go pop out a few of Nishita's babies, I think. Like
that's been the rumor. Because otherwise, why would she retire so early? Yeah.
That's really like I love Carrie Walsh Jennings for the fact that she was able to she wanted to be a mother and still be an Olympian, and she was able to do both. Like the fact that women have to choose is crazy in itself. That's for another entire other conversation, right? So you're talking about someone who is going to be on her last, in her last gasp, representing her country at the highest stage. I think we're going to about to see world-class Serena Koga. And you're telling me that she doesn't score in bunches when she was the second best scorer at VNL, sandwiched between Vargas and Gabi? How many years now at the VNL has she been top 5 scorer? Like, where do you get off saying that she doesn't have scoring power? She's not physical. But bro, why am I out here defending? Why am I Japan's defender all of a sudden? But Serena Koga is a world-class player. Serena Koga would be the best outside hitter on the United States of America. I'm sorry. I've said that last week, and I fully think that. She is a world-class player, so much so, Rob, that in an era where opposites reign in women's volleyball, Japan got second at the VNL with no opposite. Right? They
don't have a true opposite.
There is no OP on that roster, right? And they had Ishikawa, they had Inui, they had Wada, they used them they use all of them, and it didn't matter. Because the one constant factor was Serena Koga. Once again, 272 points in the preliminary round in Nations League this year.
She's awesome.
Only Melissa Vargas was better with 293. So you're going to sit here and tell me that they don't have superstar level scoring? Get out of here.
Be serious with yourself. Do you think that Serena Koga can carry a team offensively in an Olympic Games?
Yes.
I completely disagree with that.
We saw it in the last Olympics with Korea. You saw it, we saw it, but yes, I'm only going to use Asian teams here too, because just to drive home the point, we saw it in 2016 too, as well as Yuting. Serena Koga is about to pop off.
Yuting winning an Olympic MVP and Kim carrying a bad Korean team to 4th are completely different players than Serena Koga. I think Japan is a much better team now than Korea was 3 years ago.
Exactly.
And I rate Japan very highly. I think they're going to make it out of this pool. But
100%.
Is Serena Koga an Olympic class scorer that kind of put a team on her back the way that sometimes you need to do? I don't think so.
She's done it consistently for years. It's right there in front of you. She's done it time and time again for this team. And she's helped this team level up continuously. Do you remember how close they had Brazil on the ropes in the quarterfinals back in the 2022 World Championships?
They lost.
They barely lost, and this
was
is
a
a
great
better
match.
team, and this is a better team than that was now. So like, I don't understand how you can take like was she world class at the World Championships and all of these past VNLs? Yeah. So why does that not translate to an Olympic Games where she's already played before
Right.
too? This isn't her first dance.
She's really, really good. Japan is very good. There is a ceiling on what Japanese
Japanese better than
women's team.
Catherine Plummer.
She's a completely different player than Catherine Plummer.
Exactly. But still better, and still better. So if you're going to tell me that anyone like,
yeah, we'll see about that take at the end of this Olympics. That Serena Koga is better than Catherine Plummer, and Serena Koga can single-handedly carry Japan to what? Like, be serious with yourself. How far can Serena Koga carry this Japanese team, given that who their pool is, and given who their quarterfinal opponents might be if they're able to make it out? I mean, they're gonna get a 3-0 win for free over
29 points against Brazil in the VNL.
Okay, great. How far can this Japanese team go in this Olympics on her back? How far do you think?
I think they can make a semifinal.
I don't.
I think they can make a semifinal. Absolutely.
We'll see.
I think Japan can make a semifinal.
We've talked about her so much. We haven't talked about anybody else. Two great setters in Iwasaki and Seki. They've got a lot of other good wing options. I think they're underrated in the middle. I think they've got 3 pretty useful middles. We already talked about the fact that when they released their roster a few weeks ago, they brought 2 liberos, which is pretty rare. There aren't very many teams that are doing that.
The fact that they brought their extra being a libero
is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That is a problem. And another issue that I have with this Japanese team is the coaching, dude. I do not have very much faith in Masayoshi Manabe.
Bro, I have zero faith in Manabe. Seriously, watch him during timeouts. You're gonna get a chance to. He literally just sits around the corner and like, bro, we know Korea has some bullying problems. We need to look into the Japanese women's team and how much they bully their head coach, because he steps on like eggshells around them. When I think it's Fukudome, whenever like she kind of takes over their timeout.
Kojima usually.
Sorry, it's one of the liberos. I apologize for not knowing which one. But like when Kojima speaks, like I've seen her talk over him, and I don't know what they're saying, but I almost feel like just the vibe it's saying, she's like, no, that's stupid. Let's do this instead. So yeah, I fully agree that their coaching is one of their biggest issues. But what I was going to say before is that not only is Serena Koga a world-class player who has the ability to score in bunches with the best players in the world at this tournament, but Japan's whole shtick is not just being one player. It's how they play together as a unit, right? This team serves really well. As you said, they're really underrated in the middle. They move together really well as a team, and they play really, really good in transition. So she's just the anchor of a really, really solid team around the rest of her. Is she as good as like a Li Ying or any of the top opposites? No, I won't give her that. But the supporting cast that she has, I would rate it very, very highly. And Japan is one of those teams that, especially in a dire situation, is going to make it tough on any team, on any team. And it all depends. If they're able to put teams under pressure with their serving and score out of system, then this team can beat almost anyone in the world.
I agree. I think they're a very difficult team to beat. They're a very difficult team to game plan against because they're so unique and because they are so much the case that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I mean, Serena Koga is the perfectly built player to be Japan's best player, not just like the best player on a random team, but to be the best player on Japan. Her play style and the way that the whole team works together is flawless for who they are and what their identity is. Again, they're by far the smallest team in the field. Yeah. But they're also by far the fastest and the most skilled in backcourt defense, I would argue. I think they're Gabi's the best receiver on the planet, and they're going to have to try and put service pressure on her, which is something we'll talk about in Brazil. But they're really good on first contact in both reception and defense. They're really good at setting in and out of system. They're gnarly in transition, like you said, and they beat people with speed, not size. So the scouting report on Japan is quite clear. But teams that have much more size, similar levels of skill, and are able to game plan and execute with high levels of discipline beat up on teams like Japan. Like Italy, for example, who Japan will not see in this pool, but like Italy is a nightmare matchup for Japan because Italy is massive. They have excellent firepower and tremendous attention to detail, especially in the blocking game. So that's what I'm curious about. Teams like Brazil and Poland, who Japan is going to have to play against, both those teams really well coached and pretty darn good attention to detail. And I love Japan, but I think Japan has two very hard matchups in front of them.
But when you talk about those matchups, those are two matchups that are winnable. Like those are favorable matchups for Japan, right? Remember, you talked about Japan always going to 5 with Brazil. They won that last matchup in the semifinals of the VNL.
Yes,
right?
They did.
That is a matchup that is favorable for Japan. Second of all, I think of all of the top teams, Poland is another one that is their styles completely clash. I don't think Poland puts on enough firepower physically to overpower Japan. I think that Japan's serve receive and their ability to defend, Stysiak, I don't think will be that good, can be that effective against Japan because she's more of a make shots, and that plays right into Japan's into Japan's favor.
That's true, it does. But think
right?
about it: Stysiak and Lethal Barbie can stand on the ground and stuff block every one of Japan's hitters.
Not when they run the offense. Not when they run the offense, though. And that's like Japan is a really good blocking team with height. Lethal Barbie, yeah, she's a fantastic blocker. We absolutely love her. Chef's kiss. But she is not good running in those gaps. As soon as Seki is there, like running their middles into the gaps, that plays perfectly into Japan in favor. Not to mention Poland isn't the best serving team out there. They don't put the pressure most on everyone, so they're going to be in system a lot. Like, I think this one is going to be a battle.
I like Japan. I love watching them play. It's a team I would very much like to see play in person.
Yeah.
I don't like their matchups against Brazil or Poland.
I do. I disagree.
We'll see. Well, let's talk about Poland. We just started to get into it a little bit. This is their first Olympics since 2008. They went 6-1 in Olympic qualifiers. They're now the number 4 ranked team in the world. Their ascension to being a world-class team is pretty amazing. And the first person to thank, I think, is Stefano Lavarini. Since he's taken over, they have been so much better organized. I think they have more of an identity now. He was able to convince Joanna Wołosz to come back to the national team and really buy in. She helps. She's the best setter on planet Earth. And Poland is kind of a cool style blend between, like, I'd say we have 3 of our gold medal contenders, Serbia, Italy, and Turkey, have that one big banger. Decent support, but they have that one big banger. The USA and Brazil, I'd say Brazil at this point looks much better than the USA, but those two teams are defined by balance. Poland is kind of right in the middle of that to me. They have the capability to have great balance because they have a world-class setter. But at the end of the day, I'd say their success is going to come down to how well Magdalena Stysiak can score.
Yeah, I'm 100% in on that. I fully agree that they have that balance. The growth of Lukashik, Shrinanska, and Medzrik.
Menjik. You're close.
Okay, we're getting better there, Poland. Sorry, keep with me here. I really like the way that they play. I think that they're pretty dynamic. Like, I think they have a better outside core than Turkey, for example. Right? That's like a little bit more solid. Lukashik has the ability to take over a match. Like, she has the ability to score. I don't think she can do it on a case by case basis, and I think she's a little bit more up and down than, say, a Gabi, but she's really growing into something nicely.
Guess
but you're absolutely
play together this club season, by the way. Gabi and Lukashik both for Corneliano. That'll be a sick.
Really?
Team. Oh yeah,
that was sick. That'll be sick.
And I agree, though. They're a good outside trio. Chernianska is really young, really, really good. Menjik has been super solid the last year and a half or so. And then what Poland has announced that they are going to do, because they're another team that brought 2 liberos, is that Maria Stenzel will dress as the 4th outside hitter. And Aleksandra Szczygłowska will be the starting libero. That's what Lavarini has announced will be the case.
Interesting. Okay.
So Stenzel is the perfect type of character to come off the bench for a Łukasik or a Chernianska after point 18 or 20 to serve and play the backcourt.
Yeah,
that I think is the use case for her.
To me, Rob, when I look at this team on paper, I think that they might have just as much chance to win as any of the other bigger teams, but we've just never seen them do it yet.
Exactly.
And that's the big question, is that 2 straight VNL bronzes when they've really dominated throughout the preliminary phase, and then maybe it's hard to say that they didn't get it done because they're getting results that they never have before.
This year they got screwed in that semifinal. We already talked about it.
Yeah. So, like, you can go back to one of our past episodes to hear us talk about that. So I just need to see them do it, but I have that belief that they can. I think it really depends on that matchup. For them, I think it's anyone but Italy, right? I think it's anyone but Italy for Poland, because that matchup is just not favorable for them.
Yeah, I honestly like the way that Poland matches up against pretty much everyone in the world, even Turkey, especially Japan. I actually love the matchup of Poland
I
versus
think
Japan.
that's lesser for them.
Okay, but yeah, Italy is a very difficult matchup for anybody. By the way, Poland did beat Japan 3-0 in Nations League this year.
I know.
Now, I have written down in our notes like the major meetings of these teams recently, and I don't include VNL preliminary rounds. I include like VNL playoffs, Olympic quals, and World Championships and stuff like that. But I definitely put lesser weight on VNL preliminary rounds. However, it is a fact that Poland did beat Japan 3-0. A couple other things that I love about Poland. Obviously, Volosha is the best setter in the world. I really like their 6-2 look. I really like Venerska and Smarzek. When necessary, I really like the look that those two players can bring in off the bench. And then you and I, Everett, both love Magdalena Jurczyk in the middle. We think she's the female version of Kuba Kochanowski in the best possible way.
Yeah, that pairing of Lethal Barbie and Jurczyk is really, really good. And it's awesome. Really interesting. And it just gives opposing middle blockers so much to think about when you have two different athletes who are hitting two different types of balls. And Jurczyk might be the only solution. Like, I think if not the only solution, but
Jurczyk plays like a Japanese middle kind.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Is that, like, her ability to close and get there quick. Like, I watched her in awe for that. The one match that we got to watch them play in Arlington was just her ability to get her hands, like, get her feet there and get her hands over the net quickly. So yeah, I think this Polish team, like, they have the depth, they have the athletes, they have the superstar power, like, they have the coaching, they have the support from the federation. Like, how wild would it be? Like, given the right matchup, anyone but Italy, I think Poland has a chance. Italy is just too skilled for them, and beats them. Like, they beat them on the skill factor, and they beat them on the
physicality factor and the experience factor. Yeah. That's the one thing that Poland doesn't have yet.
Yeah. Because
they're so new to being this good. We haven't seen them do it at a major tournament. Like, even like 2 years ago at that World Championship, they were like just on their way to being internationally relevant, and they definitely weren't there yet. And again, they haven't been to an Olympics since 2008 when they didn't make it out of pools. So, like, this is a new thing for this team. They definitely don't have like the federation and media pressure that the Polish men do, just because the expectations are completely different. But it is pretty remarkable that a team has placed themselves in the Olympic contender conversation so quickly. And I commend them for that and all the work that Stefano Lavarini has done. The question will be, if they get to an Olympic quarterfinal, which I predict they will, how do they handle it? None of them have been there before. Every other team that I'd say has the chance to actually win this Olympics on just talent and team composition has been there before. Poland is not, and I'm curious to see how they handle that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, even if you look back at the World Championships, it was the big four kind of in the final: Italy, Brazil, Serbia, USA. Yep. Poland lost 3-2 to Serbia in the quarterfinals.
Right. That was before Turkey was really good. That was like, Poland was kind of team 5 or 6 in the world at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So they had actually finished 4th in their pool, behind Serbia, USA, and Turkey, to get into the quarters. But that's too many details. So Poland has to have the best tournament of their life. But I think if they are able to unlock that, the ceiling is gold. Right?
I agree.
I think if they're able to unlock that next level of themselves and this team, they have the ability to win a gold medal. And once again, how awesome would that be if it was the women who won it before the men? Just like, not because I wish any ill will towards the men or like want the women to win over the men. I just think it would be funny.
That would be incredibly funny.
Yeah.
I agree that their ceiling is gold. I think the more likely case is that they come up against a difficult team, a difficult matchup in the quarterfinals, and they're going to have to fight real damn hard to get past that. Whether it's like, I don't know, I could see them playing a team like the US or a team like maybe like a hot Dominican Republic, perhaps, or just because like Italy and Turkey are in the same pool, like one of them is going to lose at least one game. Like that would be a nightmare draw if Poland were to get either of them. Now Poland just beat Turkey at VNL, which was a sick match. They definitely want to avoid Italy, and so yeah, if everything breaks flawlessly their way, I think they could find themselves playing for a medal, if not a gold medal. And everything would have to go pretty darn perfectly, though.
Yeah, I like if they match up with the USA in a quarterfinal, I would be worried as the Americans. I agree.
I would be terrified of Poland.
I think that's Poland's ideal scenario of any of the top teams.
Yeah.
Right. Let's be honest. Like Poland is that fifth team looking on their way in, but USA, in my opinion, is just on the other side of the glass.
Yeah, I'd say Poland 5, USA 6 as far as my order of contenders right now.
Where are you throwing in Brazil?
4. Yeah. Speaking of Brazil, let's talk about them. They're the number 2 ranked team in the world. They struggled a little bit with their identity, I think, the last 2 years or so. They were good at the 2022 World Championship. They weren't quite as good last year to the eye test, but then this year, once they finally were able to put together Gabi, Anna Cristina, Rosa Maria, Julia Bergman off the bench, and either Tainara or Lorena as that secondary opposite, that, and then Roberto Ratsky at center. I think like settling on some of those choices, it gave Brazil their Brazilian identity back, gave them a ton of confidence, and they dominated the VNL preliminary round. They were the first team in the history of that tournament to go 12-0. The interesting thing, though, is Everett. They failed to medal. Who are the 2 teams that they lost to?
Brazil and Japan. No, sorry, Poland and Japan.
Yeah, Japan and Poland in that order of finishing 5th or 4th. So that's why I'm super interested about Brazil, because they have like really meaningful recent history against both these teams. They lost to Poland in 5 in the bronze match. They lost to Japan in 5 in the semis. But the last couple of times Brazil played Japan, they always go 5, and Brazil historically has typically won until this year's VNL semifinal. So Brazil really damn good. They're defined by balance. Gabi Guimarães is still my pick for the best outside hitter on planet Earth. The reason why I think she's so valuable is because she completely changes the way that opposing teams have to serve against Brazil, because she can take up like half the court in reception and you literally can't serve near her. She's that good. And now they have so many other great options. Like Anna Cristina's ascension at only like age 20 as a legitimate out-of-system scoring option on the left side makes Brazil super scary. They're super scary, and they're sick in the middle too.
Yeah, absolutely. With Thaisa and Anna Carolina, that is a solid pairing that could take over any match. And it's really interesting how they end up bringing technically 3 opposites with Tainara and Lorena. And Lorena actually, we talked about that quarterfinal game against Japan. She was the big hero for Brazil in that one. Mostly because she had played in Japan and was able to kind of play against their play style. So I think that Brazil, all of a sudden this year, once they were able to bring everything all together, they were kind of tying up with the bag all at the right time, and we saw them really push through the preliminary round. The way they're losing like those 2 games in the VNL finals is a little worrisome, right? But
a little bit, but honestly, and I think I said it at the time, I think Brazil, they played 15 matches this VNL and not a single one of them was bad. I really don't think they played a single bad game. They did lose their last 2 games, and that sucks, especially because the 2 teams they happened to get drawn in this Olympic pool play. But I don't see that as big of an issue. I think they should be playing with a ton of confidence. I think there's a lot of reason for how they've looked this summer to be playing with a ton of confidence.
Yeah, and I think so too. And for some reason, I don't know if this is actually true, but I feel like they're kind of coming in underneath the radar compared to some of the other teams that like maybe have a little bit more pressure on them, like a Turkey or an Italy. And that's maybe crazy to a team that was silver at the World Championships, silver at the last Olympics. And once again, Brazil is still Brazil, and I would say even more so, still so on the women's side. This team, I don't think you want to match up with this team at any point.
No,
I don't think. I think it's going to take a Herculean effort from anyone to knock this team off, especially at the Olympics, especially under the guidance of a Gabi Guimarães, who might be the best leader, other than not named Aja Vlolaj, in volleyball. Like we've seen her, like she has the ability to do it emotionally and just straight up on the court. Like if anyone has the ability to affect the game and put the team on her back in every single aspect of the game, it's Gabi Guimaraes and no one else.
And
right?
I trust her more than maybe any other player in the world in a role like that.
She's my Kobe, you know?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
And in mentality as well, too. Give her the ball, right? You need something.
I love that.
You need shit to happen. Give Gabi Guimaraes the ball. So, yeah, I think this Brazilian team is – I think anything less than a medal would be disappointing.
I agree. I think the ceiling is gold. I think the expectation is medal. I mean, they won silver last Olympics. They got killed by the United States in that final. It was never even close. But this is a very different team than that one. There's a lot of different pieces. Outside hitter situation is different. The setter situation is different. The opposite situation is different. I'm very high on this Brazilian team, and they have enough players and culture and coaching that have done it before that they will be a very difficult team to beat no matter what. The problem is, though, dude, there are just so many teams that are good. There are so many teams that are really, really good. Like if Brazil were to lose in the quarterfinal, that would be super disappointing. But I see a world where it happens depending on the draw.
100%.
That's the crazy part about this tournament.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, I'm going to pick them as to win this pool.
Okay. Let's put that on the record. Who are your picks in what order?
I'm still going Brazil, Poland, Japan, Kenya. Like that's okay. That's still what I'm doing out here. This pool is different, in terms of
this pool schedule is a little weird. There's no single day when multiple matches in this pool take place for whatever that's worth. I've got Poland 1. I'm going Poland 1, Brazil 2, Japan 3, and Kenya obviously 4. All three of those top teams will definitely make it out of this pool just because mathematically they'll all get like the free 3-0 wins against Kenya.
So wait, what? This is you were arguing against this half an hour or 45 minutes ago in the men's video. Why does this work in favor of Japan in this pool?
Because Japan has
not Brazil in the other pool.
Japan to me is much more likely to steal sets and points from Poland and Brazil in this pool than the Brazilian men are against Italy and Poland. And I think the other pools on the women's side are a little bit more predictable, which plays in the third place team's favor in general. Whereas on the Brazilian men's side, I think it hurts them. But Japan, 100%, like I could see the Brazilian men get swept by both Poland and Italy. There's no way the Japanese women get swept by both Poland and Brazil. They're too good. I could see both. I could see all those matches going to 5. I could see them beating each other in a triangle. I could see it going any way. But I'm higher on the Japanese women based on their skill and the draw than I am the Brazilian men in a similar situation.
You're really testing my patience today.
Kenya sucks. It's unfortunate. Everyone's going to get a free win against them, and I'm probably not going to watch those games depending on timing. But like Poland versus Japan on day 1 is going to be awesome. That's a 7 a.m. Eastern game. Brazil versus Japan on Thursday the 1st is also a 7 a.m. Eastern game. I mean, that's must watch. Just every time those two teams play goes to 5. Somebody in the chat says that he bets $500 that those two teams go to 5, and would probably win some money on that. And then the very last game in the entirety of group play, men's and women's, is Brazil versus Poland on Sunday, August 4th.
Spicy.
Awesome.
Spicy.
Ooh, what the hell voice is that?
I like that.
I like that. You might have to bring that one back.
The deep spicy.
Ooh, very spicy. This is going to be so sick. I love this. Despite Kenya, I love this pool. I really like the intrigue of those 3 teams at the top. I think it's going to be really fun.
I think we got really lucky that in both of the pools with like the worst teams, that the other 3 teams are super interesting.
Totally.
And then we'll add another intrigue. I think this is going to be a super interesting pool.
All right, the picks are on the record.
I almost want to change my picks and go Brazil, Japan, Poland, Kenya.
Ooh, well, speak now or forever hold your peace before the video's over.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to switch it up.
You're doing it. Okay.
From you.
Okay, I like that. Japan 2, Poland 3. Japan 2, Poland 3. All right, it is written down in the official Volleyball Source archives.
Yeah.
And we will revisit that as the tournament goes on.
I think,
all right.
and once again, I think in this pool, all three teams are going to go 2-1. I've called this for like so far
Yeah,
3
you've
of the
called a
4
lot of
pools.
triangles.
I've called a lot of triangles, but it's the Olympics, baby. Can't go 3-0 at the Olympics. It's too hard.
I think the
Too hard.
Frenchmen probably will, but
I
could
losing
see,
their second game.
Who I wonder who they're playing in their second game. Ooh, there's a good like clippable.
No,
Everett
we've
face for the
got
Discord.
way too many. We've got way too many Everett memes.
We have a lot of Everett faces in the Discord.
Okay,
these
bro.
days.
And then I like put it up, and I was like, guys, why do we have so many Everett memes? And they're like, I love how you first named yourself in this. I was like, how else would I say that? Like
the consensus of the Discord is that you're more memeable than I am, which means that I have to step up my game a little bit. I have to become more memeable. I don't know if the internet's ready for that.
I don't think you're as expressive as I am, or as emotional as I am.
Wait until I start watching USA men's Olympic games. I'll get pretty emotional during those. It was actually nice to watch the men play Poland last night and get to like remember how I need to feel about watching that team play in a big match. It's gonna be fun. I love the Olympics. We love the Olympics. If you love the Olympics, stick around. We'll be back doing a lot more of this stuff. We'll see y'all tomorrow for Pool C, men's and women's.
Rob looks like a CIA agent. What?
Maybe it's the glasses. Maybe I gotta get rid of these. There we go. Get these out of here. Love y'all. Well, anything else, Everett, for the people?
No, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, for Pool C.
Yes, sir. Thanks for watching.
I'm gonna eat burgers.
Me too.